I remember when I was 12 years old, and this one night, me and my dad, we went for kind of a walk outside. And we ended up walking for an entire 1.5 hours. Pretty long walk. And we ended up strolling into a park. And this was no like special day or anything. It wasn't my birthday, or there wasn't nothing special about the day. I had school the next day. In fact, I had an exam the next day. But it was just a walk that we didn't really have anything to do at home, so we thought, like, why not just go for a walk, you know? And in this walk, it was just a perfect walk. Me and my dad, we talked about life. He gave me advice about like where my vision should be, and I told him about my possible future. He told me about the problems that he faced, and I listened. It was a good father and son moment, you know? But then we were walking for another another 30 minutes or so, and I just thought, like, I was about to tell him that we should go home because I have an exam tomorrow. I have an exam the next day. I have to get up early, so we should get home so I can sleep early, right? But something, I don't know what, but something just prevented me from saying that. Something just deep inside me told me that just a little bit longer. Just a few more minutes. Just a few more minutes of walking. A few more minutes of talking with my dad. Because I thought that if, God forbid, if he were to pass away the next day, or if I were to pass away the next day, we both would have regretted not spending a little bit longer in that park, just talking and strolling. And this, I kind of thought about this yesterday or 2 days back. And it really brought up the topic of death, something that we all fear, something that we all just push away to the side. We always say that we have time, we have a lot more years. Like, I'm 17. I don't really think about death that much, but recently it has been on my mind. You see, death, we always push away, we think that we still have time, but the thing is, one day there will be no time. One day you have to face it. Until then, just live life. Live life fully, man. But what if I said that right now, as you're watching this, right now as you're listening to my voice, you have a disease. I have a disease. Your mom has a disease. Your dad has a disease too. Everybody you know has a disease. Everybody living, you know, has a disease. And the thing is that this disease, there's no cure for it. There's no like vaccine. There's no medicine. It's uncurable. You have to face this disease. And the thing is, like, everybody knows that they have this disease. The disease that I'm talking about, you probably know that you have it too. But nobody realizes this until they are 76 years old, on their bed, all alone, with nobody around them. This disease is death. Death is happening right now. As I'm speaking, you're dying. It's a sad, harsh truth, but it's true. You're not dying one day. You're not dying like 80 years later. You're dying right now. As I'm speaking, you're aging. As I'm speaking, time is passing, and when time passes, death gets closer. And I'm sorry if that's kind of took a wrong turn, but we have to talk about this one day, right? Each day you live, you get closer to death. Each day you live another day. Each day you wake up, you're getting closer to it. You're getting closer and closer. Just let that sink in for a second, because I don't want to upset you anymore. Just let that sink in. Take a deep breath. That is gonna happen. The thing is, you know that you are eventually gonna just pass away. Poof, gone. Nobody's probably you won't be remembered much. So why don't you wanna live up to your potential? Why don't you wanna spend this time right now with your loved ones? Why don't you wanna spend the time that you have, which is finite, doing something that you actually love, not doing something that pretends, like, makes you feel fun for like 1 second, but makes you live a fulfilling life. You see, we always say you only live once, right? YOLO. And then what do? You go spend like 6 hours watching that Netflix series. Why don't you use that time to actually live, to actually go outside and explore the area, explore what life has to bring to you, right? Don't waste time on things that bring you no fulfillment. Don't waste times that might make you regret living life. You see, there was this Roman emperor called Marcus Aurelius. He was a really good one, really good emperor, and he had this quote about death. Okay, you could leave life right now, like literally as you're watching this, you could have a heart attack and die, literally right now. You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you say, what you think, and what you do. And the fun fact about him, which I kind of learned like a few weeks ago, is that he was over here, right? He was like a top G at this time. He was a goddamn emperor, like the greatest emperor, almost one of the greatest emperor in the Roman history times. But he had a kind of like a slave, a worker for him, who was always behind him, always by his side. And whenever he faced like a great deal of pride, like let's say he just conquered an entire place or he won a great battle, he had this slave or that worker whispered to him, "You're just a man, you're just a man. You're gonna die one day. Remember that." How crazy is that? That's even when he's like at his top moments, when he should have been proud of what he did. This slave, this guy, he always whispered to him, "You're gonna die one day, you're gonna die, you're gonna die. You're not immortal. You're mortal. You will die one day." And the thing is, like, I'm 17 years old. I don't really fear death that much. I have it on my mind, but it's nothing like that fearful to me, because probably still have another one, hopefully, like around a lot of years left. If I keep living, if I don't get into an accident or anything, I have a lot of life in me. So I don't really think about it that much. But the thing is, what I do think about is what would happen if the people who I'm surrounded with, the people who I love, what if they just go away suddenly? They just poof, vanish. That is something that I constantly think about. Like, what if one day my mom, who always like wakes me up, always like brings me coffee, makes me stuff, makes me lunch, this isn't there one day? What if my dad, who's in another country right now, suddenly I'm no longer being able to talk to him, just gone like that forever? They will go one day. You will go one day. Why don't you live like you're dying? Because you are dying. Stop living like you will live forever. Stop living like you have an infinite time in this world right now. Like, I wouldn't be making this video if I knew that I had an infinite time in my life. I have a finite time. I'm gonna go one day. I just want to make a legacy of myself, of my life. I want to create an impact in this lifetime. Even if it's just like few 1,000 people whose life I have changed, let that be it. I'll be proud of that. Make it happen, bro. Make it happen, man. Anyways, always have that thought in your mind. Always think that your time is limited. Let that determine what you do, what you think, and what you say.